And I want to tell you why, you know. If the devil can use him aggressively, then I want you to know God could use me aggressively. Confusion is because for years, these guys have organized a mass organized effort to slander my name behind the scenes. So every time I say something, you're just seeing my part because their part is behind the scene. But I want you to know I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I'm anointed for it.
Why do you think T.D. Jakes was at Puff Daddy's birthday party?
If Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons. Money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties. Money and sex.
Y'all, so Mr. Mase is now coming out to expose Diddy's affair with T.D. Jakes. It looks like Mase is done being silent about Diddy's true nature and he just exposed Diddy big time. Allegedly, Diddy has been in a weird gay relationship with T.D. Jakes for the longest time, and Mase just came out with some tea. But that's not all, because Mase is also accusing Diddy of allegedly forcing all his Bad Boy Records artists into freak-offs with him and holding their careers over their heads. Mase has had a lot to say, and this drama just got insane.
How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album, and then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people, and then y'all gonna let him throw dirt on the God's name?
So y'all come on in and hop in ASAP, because it looks like some Bad Boy Records artists are starting to speak up against Diddy, and y'all, they don't exactly have great things to report about him. I mean, Diddy is notorious for having treated his Bad Boy artists pretty badly. In a lot of cases, he either underpaid them or he didn't even pay them at all. There are so many talks about things that he did to his artists, like Tanya Blount, who revealed that Diddy forced her to record 50 to 60 songs that she really didn't like, only to drop her as an artist and scrap her entire album. But it gets even worse, because she claims that she had gotten so frustrated with the album being ignored that she tried to take her own life. It was the hardest decision because that was how I was able to provide and take care of my family at the time. It was so hard. It broke me. It really did. I went into therapy with bad thoughts and even attempted to unalive myself. I was in a Dallas hospital on a 72-hour watch. I had taken pills. I decided this is it. My son was fine. He would have had people to take care of him. I just gave up. And remember that 1999 shooting incident in a nightclub that involved Diddy and his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez? And y'all remember how Diddy caught up a couple of charges from that incident and he was facing jail time? Well, the charges ended up getting dropped. But as it turns out, the only reason they got dropped was that Diddy had thrown one of his artists, Shine, who was with him at the club, under the bus and made him take the fall. According to his former bodyguard, Diddy allegedly paid witnesses to testify against Shine during the trial.
Those people were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine and what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed. You understand what I'm saying? Shine said it himself, y'all.
The wild part about this is that Bad Boy Records then dropped Shine when he was in prison. Shine also confirmed that Diddy had betrayed him in 2020 interview, where he said, "Puff apologized. He did apologize to me for that when we met in Paris. He did say that he could have handled it better, but he was under a lot of pressure from the lawyers to throw me under the bus." Y'all, there are a whole lot even more stories that are now coming out about the things that Diddy put his artists through. But that's gonna be a story for another day. But it shouldn't be all that surprising that none of his former artists are standing by him during these lawsuits. In fact, some of them, like Mase are even speaking up against him and exposing the messed up things that he forced them to do. And as it seems, Mase is sick and tired of sitting by and watching Diddy act all innocent, because he recently came out to spill his own tea. He is now claiming that Diddy had been in a long-term gay affair with Pastor T.D. Jakes, and that Diddy allegedly used to force his artists into freak-offs with him. Now, it's been so many years since Mase left Bad Boy Records, but it looks like he is still holding a huge grudge against Diddy, and that's not going away anytime soon. And honestly, I can't even blame him for holding a grudge, because not only did he leave Bad Boy Records on bad terms, he allegedly did not get paid. He's saying that Diddy went around and slandered him in the industry and made it impossible for him to get signed to another label. And that explains why Mase was never able to get signed after leaving Bad Boy. I mean, he really didn't work in the music industry industry again. Mase always insisted that he wrote most of Diddy's raps in the 90s and he never got paid for it. Well, not only did Diddy deny this, but he also mocked Mase and called him a fake pastor who was trying to deceive people.
You know, I did one album with Mase. One album. How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album, and then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people.
Now this is the reference to the fact that Mase became a pastor after leaving the industry. Well, Mase thinks that it's ironic that Diddy referred to him as a fake pastor when Diddy is literally friends with Pastor T.D. Jakes, who has been getting a lot of side-eye from people for years for being a fake pastor. Well, Mase is now coming out to expose Diddy and T.D. Jakes' gay affair. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what Mase has to say about Diddy giving his artists back their masters. So remember when Diddy made a big show back in September when he gave his artists back their publishing rights to the songs they released under his label? He has held the sole rights to the publishing and he randomly decided to give them all back just to be nice. At the time, he said, "It's just doing the right thing. I think that we as an industry and as a people have to look in the mirror and make a shift forward. It's about evolving, leading by example, and reforming an industry that needs it in a world that needs reform. I'll tell you one thing that I do want people to know. This was done like 2 years ago. Everything just got taken care of now. It's not a publicity stunt or anything like that." Well, according to Mase, it was indeed a publicity stunt from Diddy because he was trying to buy favor from as many people who knew his secrets as possible. At the time, he was in the process of trying to settle Cassie's lawsuit out of court and he was trying to cover all the bases. Well, like I said, Mase has held a major grudge against Diddy and he is now speaking up, exposing some pretty messed up secrets. So ever since Cassie decided to drop her lawsuit, the gossip mill has been working in overtime, predicting that Diddy is about to bring a bunch of folks down with him. Names like Young Miami and the ex-Bad Boy Records president Harvey Pierre, who's also in the hot seat for SA, has been tossed around like confetti. But for some reason, everyone seems to be forgetting about Diddy's pastor and bestie T.D. Jakes. Now, people have been side-eyeing T.D. Jakes because, well, let's be real, he's not your typical pastor. Instead of the usual preachy stuff, he talks about money, claiming the God's on board with us raking in as much cash as humanly possible. Seriously, it's kind of giving obsessed with glitz and glam of celebrity life because he's hanging out with the famous faces more than your average churchgoer. In the last couple of years, Diddy has become TD's go-to celeb buddy. Their friendship has grown so tight that folks are wondering if there's more to it, if you catch my drift. Now, Diddy's been dodging gay rumors for forever, so naturally, tongues started wagging about T.D. Jakes being his secret partner, especially since there's been buzz about T.D. Jakes possibly being in the closet too. The gossip peaked when T.D. Jakes' son got busted for trying to solicit gay SCX from an undercover cop. Now, Diddy and T.D. Jakes have been tight for years and they go way back to when he was still dating Kim Porter. In fact, when Kim passed away, T.D. Jakes made a post on Instagram saying, "My family and I would like to offer our love and condolences to Diddy and his entire family as they traverse this tragic loss of Miss Kim Porter. Though you may grieve her absence, realize that many people never have such love in all of their lives. You are blessed to have someone to miss. May God's grace guide you through this challenging time." Diddy even asked him to officiate Kim's funeral, and he accepted. Yeah, they are that close. And throughout their years of friendship, T.D. Jakes has been a constant presence at Diddy's parties. Now, this raised a lot of eyebrows in the past because Diddy is not exactly known for being a great guy. Now, I'm not trying to be judgy, but even before this whole Cassie thing, there has been a lot of talk about the shady stuff that Diddy does in private, especially at his parties. Diddy's parties have been the stuff of legends since the 90s, and there has been talk of gay SCX and debauchery of all sorts that happens at these parties. So, what exactly was T.D. Jakes doing at these parties over and over again over these years? Well, Jaguar Wright was right there to answer our questions, and she had some very interesting things to say.
Why do you think T.D. Jakes was at Puff Daddy's birthday party?
If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be 2 reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties. money and sex.
Well, according to reports, Mase is now backing up Jaguar on this, claiming that Diddy and TD Jakes are actually intimate partners. No, scratch that. Insiders report that TD Jakes is one of Diddy's several male partners that he likes to get it on with, and they have been hiding in plain sight all these years. Mase also had this to say.
And I want to tell you why, if the devil can use him aggressively, then I want you to know God could use me aggressively.
Okay, Mase. I mean, dang. But wait, because there's still more. Remember how Cassie said that Diddy forced her into FreakOffs? Well, according to Mase, she was not the only one, because Diddy allegedly forced his artists into FreakOffs as well. In a recent episode of his podcast with Cameron, they spoke about a time when they hired an escort and things almost got out of hand. So remember the part of Cassie's lawsuit where she said that Diddy didn't get her permission before forcing into a freak-off? The first time Mr. Combs hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles, the man, Mr. Combs, and Miss Ventura wore masquerade masks and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs directed Miss Ventura to perform intimate acts with this man while Mr. Combs watched them. He got off to it while he directed Miss Ventura and the men to do specific intimate acts. The entire encounter lasted multiple days, but Mr. Combs began to call the arrangement a freak-off, or FO. He would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Miss Ventura was eventually expected to facilitate the location and the hiring of male escorts. Well, according to new reports from an insider, Mase and Cameron were recreating the freak-offs that they had been forced into by Diddy. The insider claimed that Diddy allegedly had this weird initiation thingy where he basically forced his artists into freak-offs after he signed them, and he also allegedly fed them a lot of drugs. Those artists who refused allegedly never got their songs released. They were dropped without any reasonable explanation. Though this kind of makes me wonder if this was the real reason he dropped Tanya Blum and why she never had any release under Bad Boy Records. Well, fans are not exactly surprised by this at all, and they left comments saying, "You know what's crazy? Even the people you think who would have a moral compass was around Diddy knowing that ish was going on all along. Like, what the F was TD Jakes doing around Diddy? The fact that anyone is surprised by Puffy and or all these pimps in the pulpit is totally and utterly ridiculous. And something about TD Jakes never sat well with my spirit. I surely didn't think of this, but I'm not surprised. Whoo-wee, keep exposing these wolves in sheep clothing." Now y'all go ahead and let me know what you think about this situation in the comments below, and then check out this next video.